Hey y'all, what's going on? It's BarbMeetsWorld, and we are back to discuss Married to Medicine, season 12, episode 6, All in the Family. But before we get into all that, y'all, you already know I need you to like the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm, helps me attract new subscribers such as yourselves. And if you're not a current subscriber, go on ahead, hit the subscription button. I would love to have you become a Barb's babe. Drop down in those comments. Let me know what you thought of this episode as well as my commentary. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and share me with all of your people. And here we are. Hey, hey, hey. Married to Medicine. I'm still getting my life over here when it comes to this show. It's still very much giving, in my opinion. How are you guys feeling? It feels like we're a lot further than 6 episodes in, though. Let me throw my banner up here. It feels like we should be on at least like episode like 9, I feel like. But maybe that's just because they give us so much to talk about that it seems like it would be factored into more episodes, you know, just based off of all of the things we're able to talk about episode after episode. Y'all let me know. And I don't say that meaning that I'm tired of watching it. I'm not saying that meaning that we need to go ahead and hurry up and rush to the reunion. No. I'm loving the pace of this season. I feel like just based on the trailer that we got for next episode, episode 7, buckle up, y'all. This season still has a lot to give. Let's get right into it, though. Don't want to make this too long. So, y'all, this episode actually started off with Quad having Angel, Heavenly, and Contessa over at her house. And I thought it was really cute that Contessa bought her that big-ass teddy bear. Look at me, already cussing. I thought it was really cute, though, them bringing her that big teddy bear. That was really cute, being as though Quad is on her IVF journey, which is making her ass huge, might I say. I mean, by default, Quad is already a curvy girl. She's already a thick lady. But yes, that monkey back there is really poking. So anyway, we find out that they retrieved 4 eggs that are being fertilized in Ghana, and they also inform Quad of what all went down while they're making the handbags in the last episode, which, of course, as we know, is that Toya said that Heavenly talked about her husband, and Heavenly's whole thing is, well, you know, Toya, you talked about my child. And Angel actually is the one that speaks up to say that she thinks that, you know, anybody would feel the same kind of way in terms of, you know, how Toya took it. And Heavenly is like, okay, but if you talk about my child, it's fair game. Like, it's up from there. It doesn't matter how I respond. I'm going to respond however I see fit. I see both sides. I see that if in Toya's eyes, if it happened the way that she sees it, then I understand it completely. But I also understand where Heavenly's talking about, well, you can't come at me and then police how hard I come back at you. That's honestly a principle I live by in reality. So if that makes me a bad person, so be it, y'all. You cannot try to wrong me and then try to say that, oh, I can only retaliate in these particular ways. No, I'm going to retaliate however I want to retaliate, and it's just going to be that. But anyway, so, and both Contessa and Angel seem to either be on Toya's side, and seeing that Heavenly never said anything about her son, or, you know, what have you. And again, if you're looking at it, depending on which angle you're looking at, that's the person side who you're obviously going to take. But then Contessa goes on to say something a little bit more interesting, which is that, you know, I wonder if Simone looked it up. LOL, JK. What are you talking about, Contessa? Angel looks a little confused, and Contessa goes on to explain that Simone, she be looking stuff up, and Heavenly actually corroborates that statement by saying that Simone does look everybody's stuff up. We get this flashback of that exact conversation being had about 2 weeks prior, and Simone does say, or I should say, Quad and Angel were actually present for this, which was kind of weird then that in this scene they were kind of confused by the joke, but that's neither here nor there. And Simone does actually say that she does actually say that she be looking stuff up. So anyway, Quad's like, well, did she look up my house when I bought it? And Heavenly was like, well, she did say that she had the VIN number to the Rolls Royce, the Rolls Royce that King gifted Quad last season. And Angel's taken aback completely. Quad is like, well, Simone should have known that Heavenly was going to come back and tell me this, which I can understand. But at the same time, I'm like, Heavenly, this is only coming up in conversation because Contessa joked about it first. So does that really represent Heavenly coming to you with it? But anyway, I understand that Quad would be completely turned off by that behavior, because if I refer to you as a friend, I don't think that a true friend is going to have to go behind my back and look and dig deeper into things that are, it's one thing if you're looking at positive things or something, but this is something that obviously you're trying to check the validity of it. You have malicious intent when you're going and looking these things up, Simone. And it really just makes me feel like, once again, Simone, you are jealous. You are jealous of Quad. There's something there that you just can't let Quad live her life how she wants to live it. You always have to come back and like feel some type of way or start stuff or say stuff. And I feel like this is just another example of that. Anyway, meanwhile, King is over there at the barbershop with both Cecil and Eugene. And this is where he starts to really open up to the men about his take on how this whole IVF process has been going and the trips to Ghana. They just got back from Ghana just a few days prior. So in his mind, he was going into this thinking that it was just supposed to be one trip, and it's now turned into 5 trips. And that's not only taking him away from work, that's also taking him away from his daughter. He does have a daughter. We knew that since last season. So he also kind of added in there real quickly. I don't know if too many people caught it because I didn't see too many people online talking about it, but he starts to say starting over, as in starting over with another baby or whatever. So for me, that negates everything else. That negates everything else that's being said in terms of, oh, well, it's the money, it's the work, it's the this, it's the that. When you say starting over, that's an umbrella that outweighs everything else, in my opinion, because yeah, the bare bones of it is you guys are embarking on this journey from day 0 with another child to a minimum of 18 years plus. So yeah, it's giving you just don't want to start over. You just don't want this. And we'll get more into that obviously in the final scene of the episode, but that definitely made a light bulb go off in my head when he said that, based on that and just the behaviors he's been displaying all this season. It's just very clear to me that he don't want a baby. And Quad, I wish it was more evident to you, and that's what really upsets me, is that you're going about this in a way that that really isn't your sole means of becoming a mother. There's so many other ways that you can become a mother that would, I feel like, save you the stress and the heartache in the end. But again, I will get more into that in the final scene. Let's wrap this right up. So his whole thing is, it's just been a lot, catering to someone else's needs while neglecting your own. And Cecil's like, yeah, because at this point, if you bring it up, that's going to make you look very selfish, being as though she's the one that's sticking herself and is actually the physically going through this with her body. So as a mate, you'll have to learn that there's a time and a place to have these discussions, and now isn't the time, which King does realize. And I do agree to that. I do agree that there is a time and place to have certain conversations. And I feel like that's where emotional intelligence comes into the picture. And it takes a mature person who is emotionally aware of what their partner's going through and is able to, I'm not saying ever to just straight up neglect your feelings, but just know when something has to be put on the back burner, whether that be a couple hours, a couple minutes, a couple days, what have you. It is also within your right to want to revisit that, because things can only be left to the back burner for so long. And obviously never put anything on the back burner to the detriment of the entire relationship. Don't ever just, say, oh, I didn't tell you this because et cetera, because those are the instances that can really be, again, detrimental to the overall institution of marriage. Where'd I get that from? Y'all let me know. Yeah, so I really would love to see them really get on one page with how they want to go about this, because if it wasn't clear to you guys before now, and by you guys I mean like the audience, us viewers, that these are two people that are on two different pages, this episode really shined a spotlight on that. And then we check in on Mimi. I said it earlier this season, y'all, I love these scenes between Mimi and Steve and their whole family dynamic, and really unpacking what they are dealing with on a day-to-day as a family, what they experience on a day-to-day with their family. She's coming home for the day. She has Stevie in tow. She's clearly exhausted. She's had a long day. We know she is a psychiatrist. So we find out that Savannah actually isn't in the home this week. Savannah's actually with Mimi's mom, just to give her some time to ground herself and to not be living so much on edge, because that is well within her right as a 7-year-old. And because she has a brother that has special needs doesn't mean that she shouldn't be able to still live her life how she sees fit, at least sometimes, So Steve comes in, he checks in with Mimi, of course, and she starts to really just vent to him about the battles that she's fought today. And one thing she says is that work can be a lot. And I totally understand that. This actually brought me back to last year. My therapist, actually, I was obviously having my sessions and unloading all of my issues and all of my concerns with my own life at that time, and not even knowing that my therapist had actually lost her partner while we had been in those sessions that month or whatever. And that just, for me, really put, and by no means did this come up as a means of her trying to like guilt me or like anything like that. I don't even remember specifically how it came up, but obviously it came up based on what we were talking about in that moment. But that just put, I don't know, for some reason it just put into perspective the fact that at the end of the day, we are all human. We are entitled to having good days, bad days, and what have you. And just to know that sometimes our jobs, our careers, whatever we're being tasked with in the moment can really drain us, so much so, but to the point of having to put what we have personally going on to the side sometimes. Like sometimes people have these super demanding careers that just take so much out of you. And I feel like it's very, very important then for you to refill your cup how you see fit. And that's why I loved how Steve told her, you just go take care of yourself. If you want to watch a TV, go ahead, do that, do whatever you need to do. I got this, pretty much. And I'm like, that's really what a partnership is to me, is knowing that, your partner sometimes it really isn't always going to be 50-50, y'all. Let me just tell you that. As someone who's been married for 7 years, it's not always 50-50. Some days it looks like, I just don't got it in me. And that's even what she said right here. And she's like, basically, I should still be able to show up as a mom, as a wife. I should be cooking the dinners and doing all the things and stuff like that. And I understand her sentiment, but sometimes you just don't have that. And it really takes sacrifice, I feel like, on both sides at different points in time to know where it's like, you know what, my partner needs a break. So today I might have to carry a little bit more of that load than I normally would, because that person is human and we are both in this together, and we both have to, I wash my back. I do wash my back. I wash your back, you wash my back, if that makes sense, y'all. So again, I really love these scenes. And even in the moment, like Stevie then picks up a lamp and, Steve, they spring into action and make sure he didn't hurt himself. He didn't, damage anything or whatever. It's just, always having to like, you have a very super demanding career where you're dealing with everybody else's emotions and stuff. And you're also, she's the boss too. So like, you're actually the one with the clients, and you're also the person this is her practice, right? So she's, entrepreneur. She's also actively, obviously, filming, which is voluntary. I get that, y'all. She has one child over here, and then she has another child over here that has special needs. Like, that's a lot of different things to juggle. So hats off to her. I would be burnt out if it was me, just saying. Moving along, then we find out, y'all, that Heavenly is a new sister or has a new brother, I should say. And she found this out recently, that her dad had a child 5 years before her. She's 55 or 54 or something. She's 54. Her brother's 59. And he came into her office one day and said that, he's her brother. And she was kind of like skeptical at first, rightfully so, I guess. But based on some additional conversation they had, it was determined that really is her brother, because he was saying information that only somebody within the family, somebody who would be a sibling, would be saying. And I did watch her interview with Carlos, where she said that they still haven't done a DNA test. She doesn't feel the need to do one, again, based on the fact that he knows what he knows. She said that her son or his son looks just like her dad. Somebody looks just like somebody. So she likes it. I love it. She did say that he, and not to obviously have the episode, but I don't really think that this matters to anything that's to come. He's moved out the country since, but they've still kept in touch and stuff. And I think that's great for her. This has, of course, made her look at her dad a little bit differently. And that's because she just knew her dad as just a stand-up guy that wouldn't do something like that. But it also, going back to her conversation with Carlos, she was aware that her dad did have an outside child back when he passed, I want to say, when her dad passed. It was determined that not this man, because a lot of people I seen online were talking about, oh, why she keeps saying y'all, because he had a brother. This brother had a brother, and those were both her dad's sons, apparently. And I say that because she said when she talked to Carlos that the brother to this brother, if the brother in this scene is brother one, then he had a brother named brother two. And brother two actually is passed away since, but he actually came to the funeral for her father. And I think it was her aunt, maybe, that told him to leave because it was seen as, you know, they felt disrespected as a family and stuff, woo, which I'm like, see, I mean, that's what I never get. And I say that because, I mean, I get it, but I don't think that that's right. You should be most upset with the parent, with the sibling, with you know, whatever, more so than you are to the child, because they didn't ask to be thrown into this whirlwind of a family dynamic. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, again, her dad was a deacon in the church. She never saw him as that, but that has made her look at men kind of differently. And I'm like, I feel like if that's what makes you look at men differently, then I must be living a whole different life, because I'm like, there's a lot of other things that can make you look at somebody differently. But anyway, and she also did say that her mom had been dealing with other men, and pretty much her mom, in so many words, she said that her mom got with her dad. It was a mutually beneficial thing, I guess, for them, with her dad being in the military and stuff. She said, which I know firsthand, that you are paid additional money, that you are, is a difference in pay when you have dependents versus when you don't, monetarily, and then also just other benefits and stuff like that too. It can be mutually beneficial for both parties. And on the dependent side, obviously, they are able to have, like, a lot of time, like healthcare, for instance. There's other like spouse like benefits and stuff like that too. So, and that's actually something her mom disclosed to her. I don't remember if she said it was on her mom's deathbed or what, but she did say that her mom had other men and stuff like that. But and that that was pretty much the basis of why they got together, was what I just mentioned. So is what it is. Brother one says that he has met he had met the father at least like once or twice or something like that, but they never really formed an attachment, because he knew that his dad was going to be going, you know, elsewhere. Pretty much his mom never spoke ill about his dad though. And on Heavenly's side, she never really got close with any of her dad's family. So I can understand how this whole thing could have came about. But yeah, good for her. She's cool with it. He's cool with it. And I think that is interesting. And I mean, for her to be a friend of y'all this season, I mean, she's given storyline. She's given her real life. Just saying. Moving right along. We find out that there's going to be, based on the name of the episode and stuff like that, y'all, they're going to be having a family reunion. They being Heavenly. She was also in her kitchen attempting to cook some macaroni and cheese, and then she's trying to get some advice, some recipe advice from Jackie. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't Jackie don't really strike me as no Betty Crocker. So I was kind of thrown off by that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. They're going to have a mac and cheese cook-off or whatever for the family reunion, which I really loved, y'all. I really loved this episode. For about 90% of the episode was super positive, was just giving us, this is what I like to see. This is how I like to see Black families depicted on my TV. It was nice. I really liked it. I really liked seeing everybody's families. I wish we could have got a specific, like, delineated family tree for each person that showed up. I want to know who's this, how they related. I want to know all the ins and outs. I really, really liked it, y'all. I really did. So, nonetheless, over with Cecil and Simone, we find out that Cecil, I mean, I wasn't surprised there. He's the one that was going to be whipping up the macaroni and cheese. And him and Simone actually talk about the lengths that she's gone to cook certain things in the past, and it was all like ha he he's for the most part, until the conversation begins to turn from humorous to real talk. And that was aided by Simone, because she's still could be feeling some type of way about the conversation that she had earlier in the season, you know, that the whole big blow up that she had with Cecil and her sons. And her whole thing is she doesn't feel the need to give to show up for people that don't give an F about her. And I'm like, you know, that's true. That's obviously true. But Cecil doesn't really know what she's talking about, because according to him, he does have her back. He does show up for her. So he's offended by her saying that, because he works to take things off of her plate. And she's like, okay, yeah, so I'll meet you there. You do take things off my plate in terms of like around the house and stuff like that. But when it comes to the boys, that's where I need you to show up, and you're not doing that for me. And he's feeling like he's on his game. He feels like he's knocking out the park, when in all actuality that's not what's happening. So it shows that obviously they're both pretty frustrated, and it does turn it back to like a more humorous conversation. And I think that's more so because Simone just probably is exhausted and doesn't want to go there. But I don't think obviously she's over it in this moment. I don't think that Cecil's picking up clearly what she needs or what she's referring to specifically. I don't feel like this is the last we'll hear of it, or that this was the solution, or even to date. I still don't think this is something that they got down packed. I really don't, y'all. And I say that because obviously, I mean, we know she bought Michael the Tesla and stuff. And I just don't feel like this is something that they're able to just resolve on their own, or just able to flip the switch and understand and are able to get right from here on out after having these conversations and arguments. I do think they're at the point where they need to have a unbiased third party, aka a therapist, to really come in and break down and make sure that both people are being understood, and they have an actual solution on how they need to go forward. And even later on the episode, they say, or I think it was Cecil that mainly said, like, yeah, they're able to put on a happy face when they need to, and, you know, do the damn thing. But we all know sweeping things under the rug isn't a solution. It's just putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. So if they want to understand each other, if they want to make sure that this isn't going to plague them for another 30 years in their marriage or whatever, they need to get somebody else in there to really help marry the two together. No pun intended. That's just my thoughts, y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. Moving right along, it is now time for the family reunion to kick off, and it's unclear whether or not Heavenly's oldest son will be there. So she was probing Zachary to see if his brother's going to be there, because they still communicate. You don't know. He not, you know, that ain't within his knowledge whether or not his brother's going to be there. And I feel like, not to give Damon too much, but sometimes he does actually say a lot in a little bit of words. Like, we know that he's a man of little words, especially when it pertains to like BS that happens on the show. So when he said that even if everybody else doesn't show up and his son does show up, that'll be more than enough for him, because they have always been a really close family. And I don't feel like him or Heavenly need to lie about this. I do feel like that they were at one point, you know, a close family, and that this is something that is felt by everybody within the family. I'm more than sure of that, especially because we know that she doesn't really fool with the rest of her like extended family. Her sister especially, she doesn't really fool with them that much. So we know that her household, her immediate family, her kids, her family, like if there's two things you don't mess with, it's her kids and her family and her husband. So I do feel like the emotions with this are real. I do feel like it's something that is, this fracture has been felt by everybody in the family. I do feel like that. What else? So everybody obviously in the confessional was dropping their info on how their family does reunions or not. I thought that was really cool. Steve, we find out that he actually doesn't know his father, which is something that resonated with me, not me personally, but I have people close to me that also unfortunately don't know their fathers and stuff like that. So I know that like I don't want to say try to downplay it, but I won't be surprised if that comes back up in the future. I won't be surprised if they do stick around on the show, that's not something that is explored or brought back to the forefront. And that's why I say like it resonated with me, because those people that I know in real life that also deal with that is something that does come up in their life, even as adults and stuff like that. So put a pin in that, y'all. I'm just saying. When Mimi said the Mac and Mimi, like that was so corny, but I don't know. I really like Steve and Mimi, y'all. I'm sorry, I do. Anyway, everybody's pulling up and stuff. Quad shows up in a Ferrari, which of course production asks her about, because like we know in the beginning of the episode, Simone, the Rolls Royce, the VIN, all that. Quad says she don't really give a damn about no VIN numbers. They got Ferraris, they got Maybachs, they got Rolls Royces. It is what it is. They got Culligans, they got Lamborghinis, they got everything. So she not really here for it. She showed up deep, Memphis strong. I was like, okay, everybody got their shirts on. I love it. I love a matching shirt moment. I've had I wish I still had my family reunion shirt. I remember we had one on my dad's mom's side. I remember that's the last legit family reunion we had, and we have some really cool shirts, and I don't know where mine went. See, I don't be caring about stuff as much as I should. Like when I was younger, I care about myself now, y'all. But stuff like that, I didn't really hold on to certain things that were super sentimental that I probably should have. Anyway, I remember they were yellow too, but I loved everybody's shirts. Everybody's families had different colored shirts and stuff. Everybody's bringing their mac and cheese in. Toya's son, Ashton, yeah, he actually cooked their family's mac and cheese entry, and I thought that was really cool. Wasn't surprised about that though, because, and it's very clear, them boys be in that kitchen. They really do. They be taking after their father, okay? Because we know that Eugene, he is a doctor by day, a chef on by night on the weekends and stuff like that, an at-home chef. So it was cool seeing that. I really enjoyed this episode, y'all. And when Angel pops up, well, first of all, did anybody catch? Yeah, Michael saying like, "Oh, who's she married to?" Not too much. Don't be pulling an Ashley Darby now, okay? Ew. Ugh. Wrong show. That was funny though. You know what wasn't funny though? When Toya, she said something to the effect of, when she first walked in, like, "Oh, your son, this is the son that's going to be here and the other one's not," or she said something about the absence of Heavenly's other son in front of, it was Heavenly, Damon, and Zachary standing there. And I'm not going to say too much about not poking when spouses are present, because that happens all the time. Heavenly said stuff to Toya when Eugene was standing right there or whatever. But the fact that Toya said that and her other son was right there just really didn't sit right with me. And it proved again that Toya was the one to cast the first stone. So if Heavenly would have said some wild shit back to her in front of her kids, it just would have been up, and it just would have been what it was. And your kids would have just saw you got sunned in front of them. That's how I feel. But again, that just was another example, I feel like, of Toya just doing too much. And that actually continues in this scene, because throughout the entire scene, y'all, Toya was just doing too much, like shopping votes for her son's mac and cheese and stuff, and tricking people and doing all this and carrying around the box and trying to get people to vote for that mac and cheese and stuff. And it was just really corny. And I feel like yeah, I'm I love a little competition. That's fine and stuff like that. But that really could have been a really good teaching moment, I feel like, for her son to really see, like who knows, maybe if he would have felt like he wanted genuinely, maybe that would have been like, hey, maybe I want to be a chef when I grow up now. Like maybe, that could have really been a real big confidence booster to him. And instead, you just like that was just unnecessary to me to do that. And I'm glad people was calling her out for it. But anyway, it doesn't stop there though, y'all, because then Angel brought this dude, Dr. Bernard is his name or whatever. They've been knowing each other for like 10 years. And I was like, interesting. I was doing the math, all this stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Who knows if we'll see them again. But for now, she brought him to the family reunion. And I don't know what gave Toya the confidence to go over there to Angel and call her out for trying to get Toya to hook her up with one of Eugene's friends or whatever, when this whole time, oh, you got a boyfriend, you got a man over here, like, but she was just telling me to hook you up. Like, girl, what? And Angel kept it cute because like I'm not surprised she did, because I never really see Angel come out of character too much I don't remember her coming out of character too much on Basketball Wives, so I don't see that happening on this show. But she was like, girl, like, really? Like, where's the girl code? Where is the girl code? I thought that was corny as fuck. And again, you don't like people saying things about your marriage, your family, you're this, you're that, but you come over here saying like stupid shit like that. Like, why? I'm glad he seemed to like let it roll off his back, but that was just so whack to me, like in real life. And again, it just shows that Toya is just doing way too much, I feel like, for camera time. She's doing way too much for, I shouldn't even say camera time, because I mean, I do feel like she is a solid person on the cast as far as she is OG and stuff like that. I don't think she has to do so much for camera time. I think the camera's going to be in her face regardless, but she's just doing way too much, I feel like, this season. So whatever people take from that and draw whatever reasons for her actions this season, whatever they draw up to justify her actions this season is just what they do. I don't really care what it is. If they say that you're doing it just to make sure the show keeps going, so be it. If they say that you're doing it because you ain't got nothing else going on for real, why everybody else has a real career, so be it. Whatever people say against you, Toya, is just what it's going to be, because I feel like he was doing way too fucking much this episode. Anyway. Of course, Heavenly had introduced everybody to her brother and stuff, which at first everybody's like, Toya mainly, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just looking over my notes to see if I missed anything. No, I don't really think I missed much, y'all. Again, I really enjoyed it overall. So the last scene, y'all, and it really pains me to have to even talk about this, because we were on such a high note, I feel like, leaving the family reunion, only to end this episode kind of at a low point. And I say that because Quad finally gets back the results and stuff, and the update from her team, her medical team, her doctor in Ghana. And it was a little bit more unfortunate than she, obviously hoped for. And she tells Kane to come in there or whatever. He comes in there, and a lot of people are rubbed wrong by the fact that he was like, oh, you got good news for me. You're gonna, saying that my masculine child is on the way, or something to that, to that effect. Like, oh, do I have an heir to, to carry on my family legacy? Bullshit type of rhetoric. He was saying some shit like that, and I was just like, I didn't even really get annoyed by it, because I just don't put too much stock on him anymore. I mean, quite honestly, y'all, I have noticed, because people did say that Quad has deleted his photos off of Instagram. Just saying, and I know that doesn't always mean anything or whatever. Because I mean, honey, like, if you look at my Instagrams, for the most part, I don't have a whole bunch of pictures of me and my husband all over my Instagram and stuff. So that's neither here nor there. And I used to post a lot more. pictures, I feel like, with us and stuff. And I do on my story a lot more than I do on my actual page. But I'm saying all this to say, like, I'm not saying that we have anything, it's cool over here. But I'm just saying that you can't take anybody's social media persona. You can't take anybody's, the way they show up on social media as like law and stuff like that, because they might not got no pictures up there with them and their significant other and then be laid up on his chest or her chest or whatever. So just saying. But I don't know what it is, but what she finds out is that the 4 embryos, which they really wanted to go for 6, but they were able to get 4. Only 1 reached the morula stage by day 6, which is slower in terms of development than typical, and the other 3 are still at cleavage stage, which having embryos at day 6 that are still in cleavage stage suggests that they may not develop optimally. And she, of course, is really upset by that. She's like, she feels like a failure. He's like, you're not a failure. He embraces her. She does. I will say he did embrace her. She's breaking down, of course. And, she's like, not understanding, like, I did everything right. This is so unfair. I'm not understanding. She's oversticking herself, the whole 9. He's like, well, you really got to think about it and ask, like, whether or not you can actually go through this again, because it's taken such a toll. And it's just really going to, take a toll on your mental health and stuff like that, potentially. And what she hears, which I'm like, it's not really the best to say stuff like that to people that are so emotional in the moment, because they're not going to receive it the way that maybe you intended for them to receive it. Because the next thing she says is like, so what you're saying is you don't want to do this anymore or whatever. And he's like, I didn't say that. I didn't want to do it, but let's just be realistic. I was okay with not having more kids, but I decided to take this journey with you because I really just want to support you and do it for you. It's a very expensive process. And I'm like, even just to pause right there, even the way that he worded that is wrong. And I say that because having kids is not just something you just like do for your partner or whatever. You should do it because, like, yeah, if your partner, in this case, yeah, he has a kid, he got with someone who doesn't have a kid, who wants a kid or whatever. So I do understand that to that in theory, just making it a topic of discussion based off of that principle, but to actually carry it out on the strength of that is not going to be substantial. It's not going to be stable, because then if you don't truly want something, you're not going to, like, when chances are looking bleak and it's looking like it's taking more of a toll than you would imagine, you're not going to see it through. It's easy to sign up for something when you know it's going to be an easy process. It's going to be a wham bam, thank you ma'am, and here we are. Like he said earlier, I thought we're just going to do like one and done. And probably even IVF was kind of like a stretch for him. Maybe he just thought, like, boom, we're going to do it naturally, it was going to be done, and it was going to, the kid would only be like 2 years old now or something like that. I don't know. Which, pause, did she ever say, like, did they just jump right into IVF? Obviously, I know her age and, whatever, natural factors that they say make things more difficult to conceive after a certain point. I get that, but was she actually told, like, when she did her like fertility tests and stuff like that, like, was she told, like, no, like, you're more than likely not going to be able to conceive naturally? Or were they trying and it just wasn't working, like, or they just went straight into IVF? I'm just curious. Like, I'm just curious. Have they still been trying naturally and it hasn't worked? I don't know. I've been wondering that for a bit. And y'all, I do apologize if you guys have been hearing the landscapers out here for this entire video. I really hope you haven't, but they're out there. And he's like, no, this is when he says, like, no, it's been a lot. I want to support you, but it's a very expensive process. And she goes on to say that, I hear you, but I may want to continue, or I do want to continue, and you don't have to put another dime for it. I'll pay for it. And he's like, it's not about the money. I'm like, but motherfucker, you just said it was. So just say what you said in the beginning of the episode, which is you don't want to start over. You don't want to do this again. And I think both of them are entitled to how they feel, but both of them need to be honest about it, because this is, time is of the essence, one, and a lot of money has been exhausted already. And this is just more confirmation, at least for me, that Quad, you can just do this on your own. You don't need to do this with him, because I don't think that he's in the same headspace and he wants it as much as you want it. And from there, because again, doing this based off the strength of, oh, I'm doing it for you, and because you want to do this, I'm trying to support you. That that turns into baby getting here, and you wanting to do all the cute things, and him not really being interested, or him not really like bonding maybe potentially as much, or him just not being like enamored in so many words, in so many like ways. You've seen, y'all, if you've seen people in real life or on TV or whatever, like we've seen people be not as connected or not as excited to want to start over, and have kids, or in general just to have kids. There's going to be a certain level, I feel like, of a detachment there when you really didn't really want this or whatever. I think both people should be just as excited and just as eager to become parents as the other person. He already has a daughter. And especially if it's a daughter and not a son, I feel like if it's another daughter, he's really going to be like, oh, like, this is such a waste. Like, I don't really see the point. Like, the fake smiles in the picture, like, like, it's just not, it's not going to go off how you want to, I feel like, when the other person doesn't really truly want it as much as you. And for you to actually like say, like, I'll pay for it, or like, pretty much, it just gave begging, honestly. And I hate that for her. I hate to see it. I just don't think that this is the person that you should be seeking parenthood with. I don't. And she's like, I've been through so much. Like, please don't do this to me. I'm really interested to see how this continues to unfold throughout the season and up and even to the reunion, because she was just in Ghana with Angel and Yandy, I think it was. So y'all know what they say about, or Nigeria, I should say. I'm not trying to put 20 on 10 or say anything or make any assumptions, y'all, because I actually really do like Quad, but I don't know if it's the hormones. I don't know what it is, but this scene was not representative of the Quad I've come to know in these past 12 seasons of the show. I was really confused. But anyway, y'all, that's all I got for this episode. Again, it was a banger. It was a 10 out of 10 episode for me. Honestly, it was. And y'all know I keep it real. Y'all know I'm never just going to throw out a number. I'm never just going to, throw out a label on something if I don't truly mean it. So y'all let me know what you thought of the episode, as well as my commentary below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things, y'all. And I'll catch you later. Bye.